Alright, so here are some tips for the SAT Math as someone who consistently gets above a 770 on said section. Now, here's a couple of disclaimers. Firstly, I'm Asian. This one should be self-explanatory. Next, this video will not cover any practice problems, just a general approach to the SAT Math. There are already plenty of videos covering specific problems, specific concepts you will actually encounter on the test, and I'm not trying to be repetitive. So yeah. So first you need to understand what people are doing wrong. So first off, I know that this curriculum is probably one of the worst things I've ever done, but you really do need to learn from your math class. If you don't want to do a lot of studying outside of school, this is probably the best way. But if you're taking the SAT, and you're aiming for a high score, you probably took these courses already. So if you're still having trouble, well, good luck. You can go on Khan Academy or your past textbooks to find said resources. And the biggest mistake most people make is they go on to YouTube, right? They search up SAT math tips. They see like, oh, how to use Desmos, how to solve specific problems, but they don't understand the content. They don't understand the content. They see the formulas, they memorize the methods to do specific problems, then they get tripped up by a new problem type on the actual SAT. This is due to lack of understanding of the concepts covered. Every problem on the SAT can be solved using the concepts you learn up to Algebra 2, just applied in a slightly more complex way. So it really shouldn't be there really shouldn't be that much content for you to cover. You just need to know like how to apply it properly. Now, what exactly should you actually do then? So the biggest tip is to take practice tests seriously. For each question, try to understand fundamentally how it's solved without using Desmos. Using Desmos on practice tests, if you're trying to get just a deeper understanding of math in general, is actually hindering your learning. Now, practice is the best way to build the skills needed to pass this section. Cramming concepts without any idea of what you're doing is just slowing you down and is just wasting your time in general when you could be studying better things. If you do not know how to solve a question without Desmos, that is when you should start reviewing concepts. Find online resources about said topic and understand why everything works together. Now, even though I just kind of flamed Desmos, you do need to master it, but do not become dependent on it. Oftentimes, being able to quickly identify the concept in the problem and doing it by hand is just faster than plugging in the numbers in a graphing calculator. On the March SAT, I probably used Desmos a total of 2 times, even in Module 2. Now, it should be your backup plan if you just genuinely don't know how to do the question, or an answer checker. If you're reliant on Desmos on test day and you see a new question, you're just cooked, so don't let that happen to you. Now, here are some actual tips for the test day. Do not rush Module 1. I know that the questions are easy, but like making stupid mistakes there takes points off of your score that you really like sometimes can't afford to lose, especially since M2 exists. If you're proficient enough to get a decently high score, M1 should take little enough time for you to check your answers rigorously, which you should be doing. Now, Module 2. Now, some of you guys may be inclined to rush the earlier questions since the later ones are so imposing, but don't do that. You need to remember that sealing on an easy question loses you the same amount of points as not being able to do a harder question. So for harder questions, try to pinpoint down the general concepts needed. If you don't have enough time, just use Desmos. So moral of the story, um, understand math, but just in case, learn Desmos and everything. And yeah, good luck on the May SAT.